I am becoming so addicted to making these wire trees and hoops. Um, so we're gonna make one today, and I'm doing this. It was actually a commission, which really doesn't happen to me. So I was really excited. Excuse me, really excited to put this together. So the first thing we're gonna do is pull out our wire. I am going to do 18 strands, and we're going to do, normally you want to do 4 times the size of your hoop, but I want to do a fancier bottom to the hoop, or to the tree. So I'm going to do my 24 inches plus another 4 inches, so 28 altogether. So 28. Now if you're doing it in centimeters, I believe it's 50 centimeters. No, 30 plus another 30 is 60, 70 centimeters. So I have cut out all of my wire. I am down to my last two, and I'm just going to show you. I just do this up and down movement to try to help take out some of that, the intensity of the curl, so that you can actually handle the wire. And sometimes it works really well, and sometimes you got to play with it a little longer. So here are my 18 wires. I'm going to pull out my beads I'm going to be using. They are glass beads, faceted. I'm going to be doing these in purple. The first ones I use are these light purple ones. They are clear. The second ones I do are glass dyed, and they've got a coating over them, so they won't be able to reflect light, but they are still really pretty. And those are not faceted. So I was struggling to get the plastic pieces off of these off of these beads. And then I'll be using some bicone beads. I really love these glass bicone beads. They come in a set of 1,000, and I picked them up off of Amazon a while ago, and I'm still trying to go through them, and they're just perfect. They're the perfect combination to get some sparkle. So the first thing we do is put on a bicone bead, and then one of our colors, and then another bicone bead. So I always do 3. Then we're going to take and pull it down to the middle of the wires, and then twist about, I usually twist 3 to 4 times. It just depends on how tightly they twist. Then you're going to take one side, and you're going to repeat that. So a bicone bead, a regular bead, and then another bicone bead. And then you're going to take it down to about a half an inch, between a quarter and half an inch difference. And then you're going to twist that in, and then just do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm only doing 3 leaves on this because I want it to look a little more delicate. I don't want it to be as full as some of the other ones that I have done in the past. So we are only going to do 3 little quote-unquote leaves for this. And then after you've done that, you just twist it another 3 or 4 times, and that is what you do. And so it's really super easy. I'm going to do one more just so that you can, if you're following along and want to. And I apologize if I go off screen. My phone kept moving, and so I think it was because I had the charging cord put in there, and it just kept dragging it down. So I've been, because I kept hitting it. So, but anyways, here we're doing one side, and then twist 3 or 4 times, or 5. I guess it depends on how far away you went. And then here we're doing another one, or doing the other side, I should say. Now I won't show you all of them because there are quite a few in each one, but I will show you each color variation I do. So now I brought in the other beads I'm going to be using. So I'm going to do the top bead the same that I have been, so with the lighter color purple and the 2 bicone beads. Stretch that to the middle and then lock it into place with a few twists. But now I'm going to do my dark purple beads. And I love these dark. I kept trying to go for the light purple, and I actually make a mistake. I'll show you what to do. At least hopefully it shows up. I'll show you what to do if you make a mistake and add a wrong bead. But they almost look like little berries, which I kind of love. So let's see. So this one I accidentally picked up a light purple bead. So basically I am just undoing and pulling at the same time to try to straighten out that wire enough. I was afraid I was off screen. I thought I had moved it excuse me, moved it down far enough. But anyways, then you take off your beads, replace what you need to, and then just retwist. So it's easy. I mean, if you make a mistake, it's easy to undo and make it better. And then just retwist. And if you don't want to do all that work and you've got enough beads, you can just cut another piece and take care of it that way. So I'm just making sure I've got enough beads to finish out, because now we're down to the bottom beads. So here, or the bottom layer I should say, of leaves. And so here we're going to do all dark beads. It was so hard to find the holes on those dark beads. Holy cow. Even with all my imperfect lighting, it was still hard to find them. Here we go. And so that is our that's going to be our bottom layer. Now I'm going to show you how to put together. I'm going to clear all that up. So I've got everything kind of sectioned out, and I'm going to show you how to put together each of our things. So I'm going to add about 4 or 5 twists, because I don't want these to sit exactly side by side. And then you twist 3 times, 3 or 4 times, and then you're going to twist another 3 or 4 times. That was going by really fast. I've got this at 2 times the speed, so this isn't like 40 minutes long. But that just kind of shows you how it's going to wind up. So again, let's do one in the next layer down. I was trying to figure out why I only had 5. Didn't see the one hiding back behind. So I am adding a couple of twists, putting that one in the front. And it really does make it easier if you add the wires, one on one side of your finger, one on the other. It does rub your finger a little raw. By the end of it, my finger was not the happiest camper, but it is so much easier. So okay, so I'm just gonna show you with the bottom ones. Three or 4 times, and then add your last one. And so you can just see how they kind of come together, and you can adjust the leaves as you need to. You'll be adjusting an awful lot as you go. So now I'm going to show you what we do with these leaves, and this is going to be one of the sides. So we add those together. Like I said, I want them to sit a little ways down, so I don't want them to sit exactly side by side, which is why I did that. Now, as you add these together, it will get harder and harder to twist. I do wind up getting out these silicone wire pliers, I guess they are, just to hold things in place and then twist with the bottom. And the bottom wires will get mixed in, but that is your wires. Look at how pretty that winds up. Okay, so now we've got both sets done, and it's time to start playing with our hoop. This is not the hardest part, but it is a hard part because you're just trying to figure out how you want things to sit, how you want it to sit in the hoop. You need to decide how long do you want your trunk, how long do you want your roots. Do you want longer roots and a short trunk? Do you want a longer trunk with some short roots? I opted for a shorter trunk this time around. So I want this one to sit a little ways out. And so I'm going to lengthen the branch on that side and then put these together. And I really like the way that looks. I like the trunk off to the side. I've always been a fan of that look. Excuse me. I'm not sick. It's just the smoke in the air from all the fires keeps me coughing. So I do apologize for that. Okay, so I'm liking the way that looks, and so now we're going to apply or put the tree onto the hoop. And so we're going to take our 24 gauge wire and just about 4 inches or so. And I made the mistake here of not pulling the hoop onto the other side, and so I'm kind of putting this on backwards, which was my bad. But I'm able to pull the branches forward. I use my pliers to help tighten it. You want it tight enough, not so that it's going to break, but tight enough so that it's going to really hold it into place. And do the same thing on the other side. I don't know why it is. Just twisting 2 little wires is harder than twisting a whole bunch of them. That one's not quite tightening up the way I want it to, so I had to go in for one more big. And then you trim off the excess, and then you're just going to bend. It's kind of hard to see, but there you go. Just kind of bend it inward so that it's not sticking out. You don't want it, especially if you decide to put this up in a window, you don't want it scratching a glass. Now this is about the time I realize I've done it backwards, and I'm like, oh no, what have I done? And so I think to myself, can I just move the branches to the other side? And so that's what I do. And that side was easily done. I know English. This side was a little trickier because of where I had placed the wire. But I'm just able to twist it around and pull the roots through. Okay, now here is probably my least favorite part, is doing the roots, but it's so satisfying once it's done if you're willing to take the time. And that's the thing, is if you need to step away from the project for a little while and then come back to it, do it, because the root system is such an integral part of it that if you need to step away, then it's important that you do so that you can have the patience that you need. So I am taking my root system and I'm splitting it basically into 4 different sections that I will then split up from there. These roots will be shorter because they are sitting closer to the hoop, whereas the ones further to the left are going to be longer. Now I'm just going to show you, I'm not going to show you me twisting all of the roots, but I'm just going to show you, this takes time, and my thing kept moving, which was driving me nuts. Excuse me. But it takes time. I want enough wire twisted to not only wrap around the hoop, but to wrap into a little rosette. And so I need to be patient, and I need to just keep on wire wrapping. So I feel like that's pretty good. I go in and find my next little section of, I usually do about 4 or 5. It depends on how many roots I have. So as I have 18, I'm going to have an odd number of roots here and there. So this is another one that I am able to just split into 4 and just keep going with it. If I find it's not wrapping well, I take my my silicone pliers there, and then I'm able to kind of tighten it up, which makes it look better. Now this one, because it sits so low to the hoop, I decided to just take the entire chunk of wire and just keep wrapping. And so this is going to be a bit bigger and thicker. It does make it harder to work with, but easier than trying to do teeny tiny little wire wraps that close to the hoop. So that one's noticeable. That one you can really see. And again, if I need it, I take out my silicone pliers and do what I need to there. So this is when I've got them all done. Now we're going to start wrapping. I tend to wrap, well, I pull it through on the right hand side. So this one I was struggling with trying to figure out exactly how tight to make it. I ended up making it too tight so that it was pulling the trunk down. So then I had to undo it. And then pull it around. Now doing the rosettes is a bit tricky too. You have to pay attention to how you've twisted your wire. I have had a tendency to twist 2 different ways depending on just how I do it at the moment, and so I accidentally started untwisting one of my wires when I realized I was doing it. But basically, you're just going to take, now that you've locked your wires into place by doing that, you're going to take and just keep twisting and twisting until it's tighter and tighter, and then it automatically starts forming a little loop, and then you kind of twist underneath that loop with your I was really struggling. Sorry, I'm watching this as I'm describing it, and it's fascinating to me to watch it, not while I'm struggling with it. But that makes a little rosette, and then you pull the rest through to the back, and then we'll be trimming that off. So this is one where I realized I needed to go the opposite direction because I was untwisting what I had twisted, and so I had to retwist and then start going at it from a different direction. The tricky thing about doing these is the tricky thing about doing these is they do like to go back behind. The rosettes will try to untwist your original wrap around the hoop, and so you just got to be, use your pliers, bring them up where you need to, and then they just wind up, and how detailed your rosettes are, how big they are, that's entirely up to you. I like to wrap it about 3 times and then just leave it, and there we go. So now I've turned it over to the back and am just trimming off the excess wire. I trim really close to the rosette so that nothing is sticking out. And we're not done yet, believe it or not. That is not the end. You can play with your root system. You can make it however you want. I find that playing with it adds character, so I always try to. Now, I found these little butterflies at Michael's, oh my goodness, so many years ago. At least I'm pretty sure it was Michael's. It's bead landing, it looks like, so it could have been Hobby Lobby, but this is the first time I thought to use them. Now, I was struggling with getting the original jump ring to fit around the tree trunk, so I had to go in to my stash and find another one that's just a little bit bigger. And so I had this perfect branch here to add a little butterfly, and he's just gonna chill there. He's just gonna hang out, have a good time with his little purple buddies. And I really like how that turned out. Now, the last thing we're going to do is make our chain. Excuse me, I am so sorry. So I get 2 really large jump rings. They just came in a kit that I have had in my stash since the dawn of time, so I don't remember. I probably got them at Michael's. That was before Hobby Lobby moved close to us. I measure out about how big I want my chain to go, and then it's a simple act of putting them together. So we attach to the top of the chain, and then we attach the bottom of the chain to the hoop, and that's it. That's I'll show you what it looks like outside. It's so pretty and sparkly. I just love it. So I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. I hope that you've enjoyed my addiction, and make it a great day, make it a great week, and we will see you next week, everyone. Bye-bye.